Alright guys, welcome back. We're here in Mr. Brunetti's 6th grade science class. This is our second week of the year. We are going to pick up where we left off on Friday. Today we're going to jump right into Unit 2, which is Mixtures and Solutions. And for today's class, we are actually going to create a saturated solution using kosher salt and water. Now, once we do this, we're going to see if there's a limit to the amount of salt that can dissolve in 50 milliliters of water. So, now within this investigation, there's three key terms we're going to want to know. We're going to want to know what a solvent is, a solute, and obviously a saturated solution. So, those are very important to understand this. Now, before we actually get into the actual investigation, I believe it's important that you got to relate this to a real-world application to make this pertinent, to understand it. I know for me it helps. So what we're going to do is, before we start our official investigation, we're going to give an example of something that you guys have done in a real-life situation that can relate to this. So, let's take a look here. Alright, I want you to ask yourself these three questions. Have I ever created a saturated solution before? Ask yourself, do I already know what a solvent is? Do I already know what a solute is? I'm going to tell you right now, the answers are yes, yes, and yes. And we have an example here I'm going to show you to prove it. Alright? We're going to use Kool-Aid. Now, I'm going to ask everybody, who has made Kool-Aid at home before in their house? Everybody pretty much? Alright. Now, when you start with that Kool-Aid, you start with a container. You put water in the container. Get the sugar, that is the Kool-Aid. Put it into the container. Mix it up. And pour yourself a nice glass of Kool-Aid. Now, you put that container back into the refrigerator, correct? Now, after you drink it a little bit, did you ever notice when it's about halfway left, there's a little bit of sugar remaining at the bottom of the container? Well, guess what? You have just created a saturated solution. What happened was, you have started with the water, which is the solvent. So you already knew what solvent meant. It is the water in the Kool-Aid. Then you added the sugar, which is the solute, into the water, which is the solvent, and you have created a saturated solution, which resulted in the Kool-Aid. What happened was, when you added the sugar to the water absorbed as much sugar as possible, and the rest collected at the bottom of the container. So that is a saturated solution. And it's really that simple, and you guys have already done this at home. So now we're going to take a break, and when we come back from break, we are going to start with our formal investigation with the salt and the water. And that's pretty much it. So if anybody has any questions, fire away.